"Burn the witch!" roars the crowd as you, a medieval witch hunter, stand in a muddy village, watching a woman's screams pierce the air. She is tied to a stake, flames licking her feet, her eyes pleading for mercy. The stench of charred flesh clings to your cloak, and your Malleus Maleficarum weighs heavy in your hands. Yesterday you pricked her skin for the devil's mark, sealing her fate. Can you survive a world where one misstep could see you on the pyre next? Dare you live the life of a witch hunter? In the Middle Ages, you're a witch hunter, chosen by the church and nervous villagers to track down folks suspected of practicing dark magic, a serious crime that could land them on a fiery stake. Usually, a priest or someone working for the church, you have the power and knowledge to protect towns from so-called demons and witches. Your life is not just full of high-stakes drama, but also packed with strange, creepy, and sometimes hilarious moments, like washing in freezing rivers, or doing superstitious rituals that would make anyone today scratch their head. Timeline of a witch hunter's life. A. Childhood and family. You're born into a dirt-poor peasant family, scraping by in a muddy village where the biggest thrill is the annual pig chase. Your parents spot something special in you, a knack for learning and a weird love for church stuff, rare for a kid surrounded by folks who only know plows and potatoes. They talk about your talent like it's a golden ticket, hoping you'll rise above the cow dung. At age 7, they send you off to a monastery, a place that makes your old straw bed feel like a palace. You're not sure if it's a step up or a punishment, but it's the start of something huge. Life in the monastery is tough, with stone floors that feel like ice, watery gruel for meals, and prayers that leave your knees sore. The monks are strict, snapping at you to memorize Latin verses while you're still half asleep. But at night, they huddle in the candlelight, spinning wild tales of demons and witches that make your heart pound. You're scared but hooked, soaking up every story about cursed hags and devilish tricks. It's like bedtime stories, only they give you nightmares. One cold evening, you overhear the monks whispering about a witch hunt planned for a nearby village, and your ears perk up like a dog spotting a bone. Suddenly, you're dreaming of being a witch hunter, a fearless hero in the church's eyes, saving towns from evil. You can already see yourself marching through villages, a holy warrior with a sweet cloak. But your big dreams get you in trouble when you sneak a peek at a forbidden book on magic, thinking it'll make you smarter. The monks catch you, and you spend a whole day locked in a pitch-black room, shivering and promising to never snoop again. Even though your parents are flat broke, they manage to send you a tiny wooden cross carved with shaky hands. It's not fancy, but to you, it's a treasure, a lucky charm you hold tight like a lifeline. You tuck it under your scratchy tunic, feeling like it's got some holy power to keep you safe. Years later, you'll still touch it for luck before facing an angry crowd or a suspected witch. That little cross is your piece of home, a reminder of the muddy village you left behind. B. Education and training. At 14, you officially join the church, thrown into training to become a priest or monk. And let's be honest, it's no walk in the park. You're stuck in drafty halls, studying until your eyes blur, with grumpy monks breathing down your neck. They pile on theology and law, but the real kicker is the spooky stuff. Books about witches and demons that make your skin crawl. The star of the show is the Malleus Maleficarum, 1486, a witch-hunting manual so creepy even the toughest monks whisper about it like it's cursed. You flip through its pages, half expecting a demon to pop out, wondering if you're cut out for this. Your teachers drill you on spotting witch signs, like weird scars, shifty eyes, or, believe it or not, owning a black cat. Back then, these were dead serious clues, but now they sound like a bad Halloween checklist. You're also taught to sweet-talk villagers into believing witches are lurking behind every haystack, even when you're not totally sold yourself. It's all about firing up the crowd, making them see monsters in their neighbors. You practice your speeches in front of stern monks, feeling like a salesman peddling holy fear. Then comes the grim stuff, learning tough methods to make suspects confess, like torture, which even some monks side-eye as sketchy. You're gobsmacked the first time you see a monk jab a needle into a suspect, hunting for a witch's mark that supposedly doesn't bleed. It's gross, confusing, and makes you wonder if this is what heroes do. They also teach you to read nature's signs, like dark clouds or wonky bird flights, to predict a witch's presence. You know it's nonsense deep down, but you nod along to avoid a lecture. The wildest part? They make you practice torture on a wooden dummy, like some twisted puppet show. You're poking and prodding this thing, half scared, half curious, while the monks critique your technique like it's a cooking class. It's bizarre, and you're not sure whether to laugh or run screaming. By the end, you're juggling holy books, torture tips, and a growing sense that this witch-hunting gig is way weirder than you signed up for. Still, you're in deep now, and there's no turning back. C. Becoming a witch hunter. At 20, you land a gig as an assistant to a legendary witch hunter, a guy with icy eyes and hands that reek of pyre smoke, like he just walked out of a bonfire. He's the real deal, and you're thrilled to tag along, even if his stare makes your stomach flip. Your first mission is to check out a village buzzing with rumors about an old lady healing folks with magic. It's the kind of job that gets your blood pumping but also keeps you up at night, wondering if you're ready. You pack your Malleus Maleficarum and some creepy testing tools, feeling like a holy detective on a wild case. You roll into the village with a small crew, your gear clanking and that heavy book tucked under your arm, making villagers freeze in their tracks. They stare at you with a mix of awe and dread, like you're part angel, part grim reaper. Word spreads fast, and you can feel the tension. Everyone knows your arrival might end with someone's neck on the line. Some folks avoid your gaze, whispering you're just the church's errand boy, while others clutch their kids and pray you'll pass them by. It's a weird vibe, and you're not sure if you're a hero or the bad guy. Things get real when a kid chucks a rock at you as you ride through the village, a little rebel move that stings your pride more than your skin. It hits you hard. Not everyone's cheering for the witch hunter. Then there's the time you chase a suspect into a dark forest, only to lose your way as the trees close in. Every rustle and shadow makes you think demons are stalking you, and your heart's pounding like a war drum. By the time you stumble out, you're half convinced the devil's real and he's got your number. D. Daily life. You're jolted awake at 5 a.m. by clanging church bells, dragging yourself to prayers and mass like it's your job because, well, it is. Breakfast is a sad affair. Crusty bread, watery yogurt, or maybe some veggie slop if you're lucky. It's not a feast, but it keeps you going. Then you saddle up your horse, slinging your Malleus Maleficarum and some grim torture tools over your shoulder, ready to bounce to the next village. The ride's bumpy, muddy, and can take all day, leaving you with a sore back and a grumpier mood. You're basically a traveling holy cop, but with worse hours. When you hit a village, it's showtime. You round up the locals and preach about the evils of witches, hyping them up to snitch on their neighbors. You've got to sell it, like a bard spinning a ghost story, or they won't buy the witch panic. Then you pick your suspects, usually old widows or quirky loners who don't fit in, and put them through tests. The water test is the worst. You tie them up, chuck them in a river, and if they float, they're witches. If they sink, they're innocent, but probably drowned. It's brutal, and deep down, you know it's nonsense. Next up, you play doctor with a needle, poking for a witch's mark, some numbspot supposedly kissed by the devil. It's pure superstition, but you do it anyway, watching suspects wince. If they don't crack, you might pull out the big guns, like the rack or thumb screws, to force a confession. It's ugly work, and sometimes you feel a pang of guilt, but you shove it down. Once you've got a guilty verdict, you hand them over for burning or hanging, a sight you're used to but never quite shakes off. One time, a mob nearly turned on you, screaming you got the wrong person, reminding you that even witch hunters can end up hunted. Dinner's usually a repeat of breakfast's sad vibes, but if a rich family hosts you, they roll out roasted meat and wine, a rare treat that makes you feel briefly human. At night, you scribble in your journal or read up on witch-hunting tricks, though sometimes victims' faces haunt your dreams, waking you in a cold sweat. You only bathe once or twice a week, plunging into icy rivers that make your teeth chatter. To keep demons at bay, you sprinkle a little salt around your bed, a goofy superstition you cling to. Every morning you check your boots for hidden curses, because you're paranoid like that. You've got a flock of pigeons you use to send messages to other witch hunters, like a medieval text chain. Once, you chowed down on a weird soup from a village, half convinced it was hexed, only to find out it was just rotten veggies. Before bed, you flip through the Bible, seeking comfort, but you can't help wondering if God's really on board with all this witch-hunting chaos. It's a long day, every day, and you're never quite sure if you're the hero or just stuck in a grim fairy tale. Notable events. You find yourself in the thick of the Trier witch trials, 1581-1593, a massive witch hunt where hundreds are burned at the stake, their screams echoing in your ears. It's a frenzy that feels like it's spiraled out of control, even for a seasoned witch hunter like you. The sheer scale of executions leaves you uneasy, wondering if this is justice or just a bloodthirsty purge. You trudge through the smoky air, your Malleus Maleficarum feeling heavier with every step. It's a grim spectacle that sticks with you, making you question how far this holy mission should go. One day, you narrowly escape death when a furious relative of someone you condemned comes at you with a knife, their eyes blazing with vengeance. Your heart pounds as you dodge the blade, a stark reminder that your job isn't exactly a safe desk gig. The incident shakes you up, and you start watching your back, wondering who else might want you dead. You clutch your wooden cross a little tighter, half expecting another attack. It's a wake-up call. Being a witch hunter paints a target on your back. You meet an old woman accused of witchcraft, but she's just a healer using herbs to cure fevers, and for once, you hesitate. Her kind eyes and gentle voice make you doubt, but the church's rules are clear, so you sentence her anyway. The guilt gnaws at you like a hungry rat, her face haunting your quiet moments. You start to notice a pattern. Many witches are just victims of petty grudges or land grabs, not devil worshippers. This ugly truth sours your faith in the justice you're supposed to uphold. Then there's the time you're handed a share of a condemned person's belongings, a so-called reward that feels like looting a grave. You pocket the coins, but they burn in your hand, making you feel more like a thief than a holy warrior. You also witness a suspect accused of eating children, a horrifying charge that's tossed around like gossip even though there's no proof. It's the kind of wild story that fuels village panic, and you're stuck sorting through the madness. One chilling night, you perform an exorcism on a writhing suspect, convinced for a moment that demons are real, leaving you trembling with fear. The craziest twist? A villager points at you, yelling that you're the witch, turning your own game against you. It's almost funny until you see the mob's glares, and you hightail it out of town before things get ugly. Later, you sit in on a trial where an entire family is condemned, from grandma to kids, and it hits you hard. You wonder if you're saving souls or just feeding a machine of fear and death. These moments pile up, each one chipping away at the hero you thought you'd be. F. Personal life and habits. Your life's a constant road trip, crashing in monasteries, rickety inns, or the spare room of some overly polite villager. You've got no place to call home, just a saddlebag and a sore backside from all the horse riding. When it's time for church duties, you slip into a long alb and a fancy chasuble, looking like a holy rock star. But out on the hunt, you swap it for a thick cloak and sturdy boots, ready to trudge through mud like a gritty warrior with a side of saint. It's a weird mix, but you make it work. You stick to the church's food rules like glue, munching on bread and veggies during holy fasts. But you're all about that roasted meat and wine when feast days roll around. In your rare free moments, you're nose deep in a book, scribbling in your journal, or out hunting deer to blow off steam, always keeping it church approved. As a cleric, you're sworn to stay single, but you've heard juicy rumors about some witch hunters with secret families tucked away. You'd never spill the beans, but those whispers make you wonder. Your days are so packed, you barely have time to think about it anyway. Deep down, you believe demons are real, but late at night, you sometimes wonder if you're just a pawn in a big superstitious game. You carry a silver cross everywhere, half convinced it'll glow or something if a witch is nearby, though you're not sure it actually does anything. Once, you secretly tried a charm from a shady healer, hoping it'd keep you safe, but you hid it fast, terrified someone might call you a witch. You've got this quirky habit of sprinkling holy water around your tent before bed, like it's a magic force field. Even if you don't know why, it feels so reassuring. You keep a little notebook, jotting down every suspect's name, not for the church, but to remember the faces that haunt you. One time, a black cat darted across your path, nearly sending you tumbling off your horse in a panic, convinced it was a bad omen. You laughed it off later, but for a moment, you were sure the devil was messing with you. Life as a witch hunter is a bizarre blend of faith, fear, and odd little rituals that keep you going even when you're not sure what's real anymore. G. Challenges and dangers. Your job as a witch hunter keeps you on edge, always looking over your shoulder for angry relatives of those you've condemned, or even vengeful witches out to get you. It's like walking around with a big target on your back, and every shadow feels like trouble. One time, a grieving mother whose daughter you sent to the pyre slipped something into your stew, and you're puking your guts out for days, barely surviving. You still check every bite of food now, haunted by that close call. The memory of her hateful glare sticks with you, a reminder that your holy mission comes with a body count. Not everyone's on your side, even in the church, and priests roll their eyes, calling the whole witch-hunting craze overblown, leaving you feeling like an outcast. Their whispers sting, and you're stuck eating alone more often than you'd like, wrestling with a loneliness that bites harder than the cold. Yet you keep going, clinging to the belief that you're doing God's work, even when doubts creep in about whether God's really signing off on all this. Those quiet moments of questioning make you wonder if you're a hero or just a fool in a cloak. Still, you push forward, because what else can you do? The wildest scare comes when a mob of villagers surrounds you, shouting that you're the witch, demanding you prove your innocence. It's almost laughable until you see their pitchforks, and you talk your way out with a mix of charm and panic, heart racing like a runaway horse. Another time, you lose your precious Malleus Maleficarum in a dark forest, and you're freaking out, imagining the church's wrath for misplacing their sacred playbook. Then there's the suspect who curses you with her last breath before the flames take her, her words echoing in your nightmares, keeping you up for weeks. You ride through storms on your hunts, rain pounding and lightning cracking, half convinced witches are conjuring the chaos, though part of you knows it's probably just bad weather. H. Legacy and impact. As a witch hunter, you're part of a dark legacy that leaves a grim mark on history. Tens of thousands executed in witch hunts, a staggering toll that haunts you like a shadow where witch hunts began. Each pyre and gallows you've seen weighs on your soul, and you can't shake the faces of those you condemned. By the 18th century, the Enlightenment and new laws start to snuff out witch hunts, signaling that your era's fire and brimstone days are fading fast. It's a relief, but also a strange feeling, knowing the world's moving on without you. You wonder what people will think of your work centuries from now. Today, those witch hunts are textbook examples of fanaticism and social injustice, a legacy you're not exactly proud to claim. You look back on the chaos you helped fuel and feel a knot in your gut, questioning if you were ever the hero you thought you were. Did you protect your community from evil, or did you just stoke fear and tear lives apart? It's a question that hangs over you like a storm cloud, with no clear answer. Your life's work, once holy, now feels like a cautionary tale etched in blood and ash. Shocking, unbelievable, or humorous details. You sit through a trial where a suspect is accused of turning into a wolf at night, a wild claim that makes your jaw drop and has you half wondering if it could be true. Another time, you oversee the use of a witch's chair, a nasty seat spiked with iron nails that suspects have to endure for hours, a sight so grim it churns even your stomach. A villager once hands you a lucky charm made of hair and fingernails, and you nearly faint, terrified it'll get you branded as a witch. You take part in a ritual burning a suspect's fingernails to break curses, a gross and absurd task that leaves you gagging. Worst of all, you're forced to sift through a suspect's poop for proof of magic, a job so vile you almost quit on the spot. You pocket a fat stack of coins from a lord to condemn his rival, a shady deal that makes you feel like a common crook. You watch a suspect belt out holy hymns to prove her innocence, but the villagers scream it's a spell, a moment so absurd it's almost funny, yet heartbreaking. An old woman scolds you, shouting you're the one sent by demons, leaving you flustered but chuckling at her nerve. You attend a trial where someone's blamed for ruining cow's milk, just by staring, a ridiculous accusation that sends the whole village into a tizzy. One day, a pyre's flames flare out of control, nearly roasting you, and you sprint away in a panic, looking like a fool. You carry a scrap of cloth you think is a holy relic, only to realize it's just a torn piece of a monk's robe, making you feel like a dope. A suspect laughs right in your face as you poke for a witch's mark, and you're left wondering if you're the punchline. A kid asks if you're a witch, and you laugh it off, but it spooks you knowing how fast rumors spread. You choke down a weird soup from a village, convinced it's hexed, only to find it's just spoiled veggies. You spot a suspect scrambling up a tree to escape, a pathetic but hilarious sight as they're yanked down. A villager pelts your cloak with mud, and you're torn between rage and giggling at the sheer pettiness. You perform an exorcism with holy water and ropes, trembling because you're half sure a demon's about to pop out. A trial gets derailed when a cow charges through the crowd, and everyone, including you, can't help but crack up. You find a magical item in a suspect's house, but it's just an old shoe mistaken for a charm, leaving you red-faced. A suspect spits in your face as you sentence them, a shocking insult that stings your pride. You join a village digging up dirt for buried charms under a scorching sun, a pointless sweat, fest that goes nowhere. A villager thanks you with a live chicken, and you're so clueless about what to do that you set it free in the dark. Every night, you lie awake, haunted by a nagging thought. Are you saving souls or turning into a monster? It's a question that claws at you, refusing to let go. Conclusion: your life as a witch hunter is a wild mix of power, peril, and nagging moral dilemmas, a roller coaster nobody would sign up for. You lie awake at night, staring at the dark, wrestling with a heavy question. Did I save people, or just pile on more misery? It's a thought that sticks like mud on your boots. So, here's the big question for you, the viewer. If you were stuck in the Middle Ages, would you dare step into the boots of a witch hunter, wielding fire and fear? Or would you rather take your chances as a witch, brewing potions and dodging the pyre?